Happy Friday and welcome to the Friday Tech Bites stream. I'm joined with my partner in crime. It's been a while. How you doing, Melissa?
It has, Rick. I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. And for the attendees here, welcome. Melissa's in Jersey. I'm in Ohio. We got our producer in Georgia. We've had Argentina and Germany already check in. We got one of our other producers in Romania, but we want to light this map up. We got to finish this year strong. It's our last Tech Bites show of the year, Melissa.
That's crazy. I
It
can't
is.
believe it.
It is. We've had, it's been an incredible product here that we've incorporated. The product strategy team does both the industry insights on Monday, which you show up here and there too.
Every once in a while, I show up there, yes.
I've filled in once too. It's a different vibe, but I like their intro
different.
music better, honestly. They got that like doot doot thing going on. But anyways, I'm gonna stop my own music effort. But big welcome to everyone. And what's the topic today, Melissa?
I thought it'd be really nice. No, actually, you thought it would be really nice to kind of do a year in review and walk through all of the amazing Veeam product releases we had in 2021.
Yeah, I think that is a good kind of topic, a good way to end the year. We won't have any new GA products, hint, hint, about what I might be hitting at, but we won't have any more GA products the rest of the year, but we've had an incredible year in regards to product releases. So I did prepare some content, believe it or not. Let's go ahead and check it out. So that is the topic, the year in release, the year in releases term. So what was the big start of the year product wise? I mean, there was that thing.
There was that thing, just that little thing called Veeam Availability Suite. And if you're not familiar with that term, that simply means Veeam backup and replication and its good friend Veeamon together.
Yeah, so V11 started the year, I think it was in February, rocked out some incredible bits, but we also had that 11A update in October. So, BNR and Veeam1 kind of went through the year and drew a nice thread for us. So let's popcorn out. My favorite feature of V11 by far.
Don't take mine. Don't take mine. Don't take mine.
Hardened Linux repository.
Okay, good.
Yes, I like that one because of the ransomwares.
The ransomwares, that's a thing. I'm going to have to go with my favorite being continuous data protection, since I spend a lot of time helping our customers achieve their required RPOs and RTOs. And this is a wonderful way to really get to those really ultra low RPOs and RTOs.
You just like it because it's VMware only, and it's also in Orchestrator. Come on.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, come on. No, you're not fooling anybody. All right. The other capabilities that came with V11 were the ability to use those archive storages in the cloud. So AWS, Glacier, Deep Archive, Azure Archive Storage, great ultra low cost long term. Do you remember the phrase I gave that type of storage?
See if I have a phrase that I used to use back in the day, but I don't remember what yours was.
Write once, read never, but never say never. So burn, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's
but anyway, yeah. But no, this was great. We do see a lot of people joining. Drop in the chat where you're from. We're going to light the map up. But basically, we've had a lot of releases here, and let's switch over to the release notes, right? That was what I think would be a really good way to start looking at that. We talked about some of our favorites, right? But then continuous data protection uses that. We'll go back to that real quickly. What's a filter driver? Is that explain that to me? That's pretty technical.
Yeah. So this is actually something that we're going to install on the ESXi host as well, and we're going to intercept the IO there and send it to a different ESXi host for you, usually in a different data center. And then that filter will basically intercept the data for you. So we're kind of bypassing some things like, your normal type of replication or whatever. And when we go host to host, that lets us get really, really aggressive and really take advantage of some of those really low-level VMware features to make sure that we can make sure that data is getting there as quickly as possible. The great part about CDP, I literally followed worst practices from my Veeamon demo this year that I did on the main stage, where I sent via CDP a VM to IBM Cloud. First of all, I sent Veeam1, which is kind of chatty. It does a lot of IO, right? Because it's always collecting data. And I did all of the worst practices. I didn't size my proxy right. I did everything they tell you not to. And I got mad because I couldn't get below a 15-second RPO with that setup. Like I got 30 seconds without even trying. I couldn't quite get down to the 15. But this is really powerful, really simple to set up. And it just works really, really well.
So you just threw it in.
I just threw it in, yeah.
You got 15.
And it worked.
That's actually really awesome. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, sitting in the IO path, very, very powerful. There's my hardened repository. And what I'm looking at, by the way, these are the what's new PDFs, which are on the product page.
They're beautiful.
They are beautiful. They are 21 pages, but they're good nuggets of information. Let's scroll through and find one more other thing. We talked about the
object storage. Everybody loves object storage.
I think I know what's next on here, but there it is. Instant recovery, what Veeam's known for. The SQL and Oracle database types, instant recovery, those applications. That's really cool.
Same NAS, instant recovery, right? That was another biggie.
Yeah, and it just goes on. Oh, and this is actually one of Anton's favorites, by the way.
That is up there. That's a pretty cool thing too.
And this kind of closes an incredible loop because V10 had instant recovery to vSphere, but now basically we get this like instant recovery, aka instant conversion, anything to anything, right? And then the long list of others, right? So really, really good stuff that came with V11.
Some light holiday reading, if anybody.
Light holiday reading, yeah. And then Veeam took some updates too, right? And then 11a brought in Windows Server 2022 support, new reports, all kinds of good stuff. So, yeah, I think V11 was definitely the highlight of the year, but it wasn't the only product release for sure.
No, it wasn't everything.
Yeah. So cool. Let's see what's next. Well, related to V11, I actually forgot about this for a second. The agents and the plugins, those took a major update as well, both with V11a and base V11. And we actually introduced a new agent, the Mac OS. In fact, Melissa, no joke, I installed the Mac agent.
No.
I know. And like, no. I am the least likely person in our team to be fiddling around with a Mac. I think everybody has one except me. But
well, technically the product strategy team has one, right? So
yeah, but I am Windows, the MVP bit, but there was this random old Mac and I put the agent on it. I did it for a video, which I haven't done yet, but nonetheless, I have done it. Actually works. It was easy. I figured it out. So now we're going to go into a neighborhood you like, and this is actually very interesting for you.
It is.
Because you actually, for your Orchestrator love, tell me about two things that happened this year.
So we had two major releases of Orchestrator in 1 year, which is amazing and excited for me. First and foremost, we had version 4 that piggybacked off of version 11, where we added CDP support. So you can orchestrate the recovery of those amazing CDP replicas, fully documented, of course. Have Orchestrator build all your DR plans for you. We introduced some more storage plans. And then in November 23rd, actually, we released Veeam Disaster Recovery Orchestrator version 5, where we added support for HPE storage snapshot integration and orchestration. And we also just added some cool usability stuff like a new dashboard, an enhanced inventory view that makes it really easy to see the VMs in your environment and what you are protecting with Orchestrator and what you're not protecting. So that's like one of my favorite things ever in the Veeam products, especially in Veeam. Yes, we'll show you what you're protecting and what you're good to go on, but we're also going to show you what's vulnerable and at risk. So that was really exciting just to have two releases like that in 1 year.
One thing that also came with that release, and let's switch over to the what's new of V5, you also implemented new, I'm making up messaging here, putting the mess in messaging, but standardized web UI, like in the splash screens and stuff, which is really consistent with what the cloud backup products are doing. Yes. So if you've used some of the other web-based products.
If you used any Veeam product, basically web-based product, they all look pretty much the same. Actually, the first time I saw a Veeam backup for AWS, I think I upset a lot of people because I said, oh, that looks like Orchestrator, but it's green. And people didn't really like that, I guess. But that's one thing that Veeam really wants to do. Like you'll see the Veeamon Reporter, Veeam Disaster Recovery Orchestrator, the cloud native products. It's all the same look and feel no matter what web-based product you're using for Veeam, right? That makes it really easy to upskill on new products, start working with a new product, and it's just huge.
Now, this is an interesting one, Melissa. What is this DR pack? I understand the universal license. We've really gone to market to, address easy consumption. What's the DR
Absolutely.
pack?
That is kind of Orchestrator's take on some of that. The DR pack means that you're going to get a significant discount on Orchestrator. We're talking about up to an 80% cost savings on Orchestrator when you protect all of the VMware-based virtual machines in your environment, right? Because a lot of times people are looking at DR as like pick and choose maybe our most important things. But because we're talking about, the 4 different tiers of Veeam data protection from CDP to regular replicas to backups to storage snapshots, we want to make it easy for you to recover all of your data, right? Even just the VMs that you're backing up once in a while that you should be backing up more, because there's lots of bad things that can happen out there that you might need to be able to recover from.
So it's almost lunchtime here for you and I, Melissa. So this is like that really premium burger with like you're paying extra for the good cheese. Okay. Is that the best analogy I can come up with?
Yeah. Jason Buffington, who's usually on the Monday show, likes to say like Veeam backup and replication is the burger, but then you want fries and a drink too. So you need Veeamon and Veeam Disaster Recovery Orchestrator to accompany that burger.
We're all going to just get real hungry. And, the other angle you could just say is like dessert, you could
Dessert,
make that
yeah, sure.
hey, dessert.
I'll bake something.
All right. And like I said, we've got a big attendance here, and people are letting us know where you're from. Some of you might be thinking about dinner and dessert and lunch, and maybe even brekkie, depending on where you're at. Well, let's pivot over to the map. We've had some entries here. We've got Argentina still. We had Las Vegas represent. I love me some Vegas. I love it. We also had Ohio, not just me, it's good to know. Over in EMEA, we've got the UK, we've got Germany, we have still Romania. A little light today, guys. Gotta let us know. Brazil, always here, Brazil. You guys always take care of us. Appreciate that. But drop us in your country. Oh, and Saudi. Hey, the RSA. Welcome, or KSA. Welcome, KSA. We've had, great activity over the years. Drop in the chat your country or your US state, and we will light it up. Good stuff. All right, let's go back. We're halfway through the countdown. Then we went over to, I don't know if this is your favorite neighborhood, Melissa.
I have nothing against the neighborhood.
Okay, but it is very clearly on the right side of this column. We're going to talk about cloud. So being back up for Google.
Especially if you're actually backing your stuff up in the cloud, right? You need to back that stuff up.
Actually, I think V1 came out this year too. Now that I think about it, I might have this wrong.
You might be right, but that's okay.
Yeah. And V1, well, it had base compute, but then V2 came in with that kind of integration with BNR. Which is interesting, by the way. Google's archive storage in the cloud, by the way, is online. You don't have to wait for it. So that was actually kind of interesting. The different clouds are different. And as we see these cloud
flavors,
right? As you see these cloud products from Veeam mature, you'll see some nuancial differences across the different clouds become visible, right?
Yeah, but the really interesting thing is you're going to see as we build this out is the core functionality kind of goes with the version, right? So VBR integration, that's pretty much always V2 of the clouds, right? And in version 3, you're going to start seeing more services added, right? So we've got for Veeam Backup for Azure Sql as a service. That's gigantic. Mm-hmm. And then in AWS version 4, again, you're seeing more services coming and all that kind of good stuff. So.
And then in the Amazon product in V3, we had RDS, right? Yeah. So equivalent to what the SQL bit is over in Azure world, we had that as a previous milestone with V3. So it's actually really interesting to watch the cloud products go. And then with Amazon version 4, the Elastic File Services integrating with key management there, really, really cool stuff. So
that's a lot.
It is a lot. So let's jump over and show you. Pick one, Amazon or Azure. Who goes first in your book?
I guess Amazon.
Okay, right off reInvent. So what's new in V4? The key management service, these new services. And, again, already EC2, already VPC, already RDS, right? And there's more stuff coming. We got briefed a couple weeks ago internally on the new capabilities coming. And you know what? This cloud backup product. It's really legit. So hopefully everyone can try it. You can, by the way, go to the Amazon Marketplace and
Yeah,
push
you can get all of these right from their respective marketplaces. And here's something super cool. They are always free for your first 10 instances, right? So go mess around, kick the tires, free to protect your first 10 instances. At that point, you can buy it through the marketplace, or you can even bring your Vol license if you're already a Veeam customer, right? There's no extra like cloud tax or whatever with Veeam. Just bring your Vol to the cloud and use that.
Yeah, and if you are into the API realm, every time I try to get into APIs, I just end up with an IPA. Be here all week, friends. But anyways, if you want to get into APIs, you can get into a standalone AMI deployment if you want, right? So you can make your own appliance in your own workflows. Now, if you're like Cloudy McCloudface, this is the type of stuff for you, right? This is really awesome.
But that's the great thing about these products, right? They're designed for everybody. They're designed for Cloudy McCloudface, and they're designed for Melissa, who you're going to have to drag kicking and screaming out of the data center.
Melissa well, let me think about this. Melissa McData Center, next topic. Yeah. All right. And the other cloud over in Azure. So we had a great update here, and this one's near and dear to my heart, Azure MVP and all. I was really happy to see the Azure Sql service come into play. Yeah. I mean, that was by far the most requested additional service to be backed up in Azure. And the archive storage for these backups, great. Now, by the way, if you're doing the cloud and you're not doing multiple accounts, you're doing it wrong. This is important, having different accounts in play, and Azure accounts or subscriptions in AWS, same concept, different clouds. That is an incredible administrative boundary that's provided to you in the cloud. When you think about, a lot of times I get the question, why would I do this backup when I have, I can just consume more cloud. If you do have a question, drop it in. I see that we have one coming in. I'll field that when it comes in. But having these multiple accounts is really, really valuable because you have this really good administrative boundary. And so supporting that with Azure is great. Down on page 2, RBAC is in there. Always good to have that. Azure Key Vault. So you're seeing some similarities across the different products. But guess what? You can also try it for free right now, including from the marketplace. Oh, question around Orchestrator. Look at that. I'll let you field that one.
Well, thank you, Asher. Is there a plan to integrate Veeam Disaster Recovery Orchestrator with Nutanix AHV? That's a great question, and something I just want to level set a little bit. With Orchestrator, we're going to implement the backup and replication technologies once they hit a certain level of maturity, right? So we've got to have things like Sure Replica and Sure Backup in there so that we can do our testing. That's something, who knows what the future has, and we're going to keep a close eye on AHV as it continues to develop.
So, yeah, I'll add a little bit more to that because I get the same question for Hyper-V, Melissa. And I'm like, once Sure Replica comes to Hyper-V, let's talk, right? The Nutanix hypervisor, AHV, with the version 3 of the proxy that came out October of this year, soon after 11A, we had introduced instant VM recovery, but we didn't introduce full data labs, right? So that being said, we don't know. I mean, there is a roadmap for the Orchestrator product, but I'll tell you, Asher, I'm glad you're asking because the Orchestrator product is awesome, and we got to get a whole bunch of things right. And then I swear, this product's going to take over the world. That's my thought. I know Melissa likes it, but we'll see.
I'm with you there.
There you go. All right, so that's the product releases, and honestly, this is the summary. I mean, there's a lot more to it. There was some updates. The agents took updates. In fact, I think I might have glossed over some really big things with the agents. I use those all the time, but this has been a very busy year from a product perspective.
It has
been. As we look, additionally, 2021, we've had a couple other things go on, right, including just yesterday. So let's popcorn through some of those. Number one, we launched Veeam Government Solutions. That was a pretty cool milestone for our federal business. You and I don't do much in that. Jeff on our team does. He occasionally pops into the Monday show. We also had Veeamon 2021. Now that was an interesting one because we also did this new thing called Veeamon Update. What was your take on both Veeamon and Veeamon Update, Melissa?
I really like the model of having two different events, right? A bigger one and a smaller one. Because like you saw, there were so many releases this year. It's great to kind of have that second lighter event just to recap kind of what has happened since Veeamon, because there is a lot of stuff, right? If we went from Veeamon to Veeamon with nothing in between, Veeamon would have to be like 2 weeks long.
Indeed, indeed. And after Veeamon, so Veeamon was in May, but then in July, the Gartner Magic Quadrant came out and Veeam placed really well there. And down at the little URL there, we've got our full page. You can download the whole report still. I love that, but I will tell you, I spend the whole month of March working on that. Me and Dave Russell, and no joke. Tell me if I'm wrong here, Melissa. You will just random times of the day, bizarre questions with no context. They will come in. I will ask everyone on my team, how does this product X?
Yes.
It's a team effort. As we continued, we also onboarded both Veeam Vanguards and Veeam Legends for the year, our two influencer programs. Those are doing great. And it's really great to see that continue on. Then also we had that Veeamon update in October, which was, like you said, that nice year journey. I actually have some crazy ideas for more kind of milestones through the year, which is interesting. And then there's a big space in the middle that we have one more piece of news. I wonder what it could be.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Yesterday, Veeam announced a new CEO. Anand Deswaran is going to become our CEO. And, we put some stuff in the community, a lot of noise on Twitter. I put some threads up on Reddit. This is a big deal. It's really a growth move to take Veeam to that next level. So I'm really excited for that. Get busy with that in the next year. So cool. That's the year in review, and we're almost at time. But I want to show.
That's a long year in a good way.
It was a long year.
In a good way.
In a good year. I got one more thing I want to show you. And I'm going to give you a let's see. Let me see. I want to give a shout out to one of my special friends. So I mentioned through the year that we had onboarded the Vanguards and Legends. One individual, Michael Paul. Actually, no joke. Didn't I ask you earlier today, Melissa? I'm like, is 15,000 a good number for a blog post? And you're like, yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I got to give a shout out to Michael Paul with what you need to know about this Log4 vulnerability. But he also, so if you haven't, that's a whole nother, that's not a Veeam news. In fact, no Veeam product was impacted here, but I got to give him shout out there. But also, Michael also did this 2022 support. He made a very separate post called what products into January go end of support. And I actually thought that's a good kind of forecast. We document that well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything Veeam BNR 9X, Veeam 19X, Vedro 2. Oh, why would anybody still be doing that, right? And then the agents for Windows version 3 and Linux as well, and then into the first quarter and through next year. And this all makes sense, right? You'll see some of these go into support. I can't tell you, Melissa, how many times have I talked to a person where, oh yeah, I installed Veeam 5 years ago, never touched it, and it just works.
We get that a lot, actually.
I like that, but that's not really a good idea, right? You want to update, especially if you're using later versions of the operating systems, virtualization platforms, storage systems. You want to keep current. So
there's a lot of good stuff that comes out.
Yeah, Michael brought that up. Thank you, Michael Paul. And that actually is kind of leading us to where we're going to wrap up. So what is next from Veeam? Into next year, you're going to see us start to promote V12. We put a little bit of roadmap pixel fairy dust into Veeamon about what's coming from GhostDev, but it's going to get real serious real soon here with that. Just dropped a beta of Salesforce. What was that? Was it Tuesday?
Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, very recent. This week, we dropped a beta of our Salesforce backup product. So that was announced at Veeamon, and this is what I'm wanting to call roadmap to reality, right? We're announcing it, or Veeamon update, we announced it, and now we have a beta, and in the next year, you're going to see it mature. Good stuff. All right, so I think we got a couple more people on the map, and we're going to go check that out. So we've had, let's see, we've had Illinois, we've had Texas, we've had Yeah, Texas. And we've had Slovakia. We've had Serbia. We've had, I have a very small map, so I'm trying to guess at these. But I appreciate everyone letting us know, lighting it up. We have a good showing. It is end of the year. It's our last Tech Bytes show. I didn't make the world green. We need Canada, Russia. We need somebody from Greenland and Australia, Brazil, and the US, and then we're good. All right, Melissa. So a couple of things to kind of close us out. I think as we look at everything we've released, I think it's a good idea, kind of what Michael brought up, to check out the product lifecycle. If you haven't updated to V11A, now's the time. The bottom link here is that upgrade center that I wrote, which, not going to toot my own horn, but it's one of the top posts in the community hub over at the Veeam community site. And then also check out that community.veeam.com. Ksenia and I and a shed load of the legends and vanguards and just the large catchment of the community put out some really, really good stuff, like Michael Paul's blog post on Log4j. Anything else you want to close us out with here, Melissa?
Nothing. Thank you all for joining us throughout the year. We've had a great variety of topics on here. We love doing our Friday Tech Bytes. And do we have a Monday show this week, Rick?
We do.
Or next week?
Jason and Dave on Monday the 20th are going to do part 2 of their trends of 2021 and 2021 wrap up, I should say. So they have a show Monday, Dave and Jason. I believe that's their last of 2021, and that's episode 76. And this will be the last Tech Byte show of 2021. And I think I think we're coming back January 10, and I think it's me and you talking to mutability, right? So we're starting strong for the new year, bringing the ransomware. And then I got to give a big shout. Our producers, Mark in Atlanta, and then our team in Europe, they rotate because of time zones. But today it's Alina, it's Ben Catronell, it's been Felicia in Texas, the social media marketing engines. Guys, you don't know, for those of you watching the stream, how easy they make it for us.
We just have to show up.
I know. I got both.
They do everything for us. They're
it's
amazing.
Great.
So thank you, everybody in the Veeam team that makes this show possible.
Indeed. And thank you all for watching. Great viewership. We've had some incredible aggregated numbers and the guests and all through the year. And thank you, Melissa. You help keep me honest on all of this.
Thank you for bringing me along for the ride, Rick.
Well, I do hit you up like the day before, like, yo, you busy? Anyways. All right. Well, everyone, thanks, and have a great end of 2021, and let's have a prosperous and safe and effective 2022. On behalf of the whole Veeam team, that concludes our stream. Have a nice weekend, everyone.